Hi, my name is Regina Nava, and you are watching the Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press. Today I am so happy to be joined by Regina Nava. How are you?
I'm very good, and you?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking, and I'm so excited to chat with you about your work in the Gringo Hunters. But before we get into the show, I know that you have a background in journalism and writing. So, what was
Yeah.
the spark that made you transition to acting and explore a different form of art for your career?
Yeah, I think that it was a very specific moment in my life in the pandemic. I've always been a huge reader, and mostly I used to read Harry Potter and The Hunger Games, all that. And there was a time in my life when I just felt like I had a duty to my country, and I started getting like very intellectual. So I started looking to other type of books and investigation, and I feel like writing has a real power to change minds. But and I studied all the career and all that. But with the pandemic, it was like too obvious to me that maybe my strongest power was to tell stories, but through fiction, because I've always liked it, and I feel like fiction has a real strong. It's like a real strong weapon to get into people's minds in a very gentle way and change them. So yeah, it was in the pandemic, and I've always loved acting, but it was at that time that I was like ready. I don't know if that's the word to really embrace that part of me and to really like take action. Yeah.
I know that you did school theater when you were younger as well, so it just maybe took a bit of time. And sometimes you need to, it's almost like a bit of courage, right? To kind of try something new. But I know that you still really enjoy writing. So, how
Yeah.
do you think your journalism background has since benefited you as an actor?
It has, I think it has benefited me like in so many ways. The most specific one that I think is that to do journalism, you have to listen. And as an actor, that's all, like everything is about listening. So journalism was for me all about hearing other people's stories or investigating and that. And I feel like I took those tools to my acting a lot. I love listening to people. I love like putting myself in another's shoes, and I think all that's also a very important thing in acting. And also, like, if I get more technical in a way of getting more the writing, like being conscious that behind every script and every character there's a person that writes and that is a human too. So dissecting that as a journalist, I think, helped me a lot to have it like naturally ingrained in me as an actor. Yeah.
That's such a great answer because I do feel like when you have that extra passion for like character study and words, it means like you're constantly looking to study and understand the scripts that you get as well and the character motivations, and it kind of helps you form a bigger picture of the person that you're playing. So
Yeah.
we'll get into the Gringo Hunters, which I just cannot wait to kind of dissect Camilla, but we are discussing spoilers, so a warning for all those watching this interview. Can you share some details about your audition process and what drew you to your character and the overall story?
Yeah. So when I was the first time I got the casting, it was like November of 2023. And instantly when I received it, I felt like this was a really nice story to tell, because it was based on well, it is based on an article by the Washington Post, and like based on real on real life events, and that was very interesting to me to read the article. I was like, I can't believe this group of people really exist and do such a beautiful job, you know, like an honest job. And because also as Mexicans, we tend to have like a narrative that policemen here, they tend to not do their work. So to find out about this group of people that do their work, it was really interesting. And then I got a little bit, you know, they send you like a casting call and it has a lot of details. And as I scrolled down, I saw who was involved. I saw it was Red Room, Imagine, and Woo Films, and these are production companies that I really respect. And as an actress, I was looking forward to work with them. And then I got to Camila, and Camila, as soon as I read the character description, it clicked with me so much because I feel like the most important part of her is that she's really complex. And I also, like, as a personal trait or whatever, I have a bit of trouble relating myself with other people. Like, I'm very socially anxious, and whatever, I get too nervous or think too much about what I want to say. So I felt a connection and I did the casting, but it was a long process because at one point they were trying for actresses that were on the spectrum, then they came back to actresses that were not, and it was like a lot of, they saw a lot of actresses, but I instantly felt like it was going to be a character I will play. So I started preparing since then. So I think that's like an interesting fact, that ever since I did the casting, I just got into it. Like, I decided it will be mine and started preparing with months of anticipation, and eventually it landed.
I think that's great because, like you mentioned, Camilla is on the autism spectrum. So I know it was very important to you to learn about the subject and give as authentic of a portrayal as you could with the character. So what research did you do, in the pre-production in the months leading up, and what conversations did you have that helped in shaping this part of her?
Well, I had in my university, I had the pleasure to be in contact with two friends that were on the spectrum, and it was like, I don't know, everything always, I think, happens for a reason. And they were two special friends that really marked my life, you know, like I always, like, we got along so well. And I tried to bring a lot of how they bring themselves, and how, what I remembered of them. And that was like the first point I took. And then from there, I started like consuming a lot of podcasts. And then I saw a lot of shows. I watched a lot Love on the Spectrum, that show, because I think it's beautiful, that show, in every way. Like, I love that show. And more like in a journalism side, I read articles and I like did my notes and all of that. And I think it was like an accumulation of all those things, that at the end, I, from every part, I got something that I wanted to bring to Camila. And specifically, I saw a girl that's called Kaylin, and she is on the autism spectrum, and she is on the show of Love on the Spectrum. And I watched a lot of content of hers, and how she expresses that. I mean, I think her main message is that not because you can tell someone is on the spectrum means that that he or she is not, you know. So that really got into my mind, and the way she expresses about people on the spectrum and neurodivergency, I learned a lot from her. So yeah, I think that she was a real important point in the creation of Camila.
I think it's really nice that your decisions for your character, like it came from an informed place. Like you mentioned, consuming a lot of content, doing the reading, and then just overall making sure that this character was made with a lot of respect and love. But I'm so glad that you were casted because it shows that, the casting and the producers saw something in you that was good and perfect for this role. Can you share some insights into Camilla's key physical and personality traits that you focused on, and was she similar to yourself in any aspect?
Okay, yeah, that so once I decided the physical traits, like I really wanted the character to be really like I was very focused on the way I wanted her to see the world. So her eyes were really important to me, and maybe like I didn't want it to fall like in the I can look at you, or I wanted to like play with yeah, maybe not holding a lot, like the eye contact. But also, if you notice in the TV show, like she eventually starts like getting more comfortable, and she is able to be more to make more eye contact. I did a lot of work with her hands, because I feel like, and this is also something that I have, that I'm always like moving my fingers, like I tend to, I don't know, if I'm not biting my nails or whatever, I'm just like simulating that I'm playing the bass. So that was something that I thought could work well on her. And again, at the beginning, she has it more than she does at the end of the TV show. Uh, but also, like, I once I decided those physical traits, I wanted to focus in her as a human being. Like, she has a really complex journey in the TV show. I feel like her story has like a really clear growth throughout the whole TV show. So that's what I wanted to really transmit to the viewer, like uh, to see a Camila that takes on the challenge and learns something and ends up a completely different human being, because we change all the time. And yeah, I wanted that to be like the part that shows and that tells the most about her. I don't know if I did it, but I hope so.
You did, and it must be so nice to go on this journey with her because, like you mentioned, you have all these starting points that you kind of pinpointed, including, I know you said earlier, being sensitive to sound is one of them, and then taking that like anxiety, but then being able to grow with that and how that changes in Camilla in season one. How old is she supposed to be in the show when we meet her?
Yeah, I feel like she's my age, 26. She's totally my age. So she did the police academy and she started working. Yeah.
It is revealed in the show that Camilla lost her mother. So, how old do you think she was when this happened, and what was her upbringing like being raised by her father?
Yeah, so that I feel like she lost her mother really early on, like 4 5 years. And I don't like the way I see it in my mind, or saw it through all the process, was like she remembers her almost like through a photo, like she really does not remember having a meal with her, or her preparing her for school. All of that, I think that she has to fill the gaps, right? So, and by being raised by her father, I feel like her only real human connection, right? And I feel like they have a really beautiful relationship as father daughter, but also like they don't really know each other, if you know what I mean. Like they I mean, obviously, the loss of the mother also affected my father. So we're both left in this space where my mother doesn't exist, and we are trying to do our best, but maybe our best is not like the most successful daughter-father relationship, but we love each other, and yeah, that's what I built. Yeah.
I think that without, too much dialogue, especially between her and her father, it's clear that he cares for her, but at the same time, like you mentioned, maybe he didn't make the extra effort to understand her and maybe like, being on the spectrum, although there is that built-in care, it can be hard to move on from such, I'm sure, like a devastating event, like losing a wife and losing a mother. I know that you kept a diary for Camilla and you listened to music in character. So what artists and songs were on her playlist, and what genre of music does Camilla listen to?
Okay, so Um, actually, I feel like there were three key songs that really like were my most listened and or are the most listened by Camila. The first one is the one she listens when she works and she has her headphones, and that's A Brain in a Bottle by Thom Yorke, because it's like mostly sounds, and whenever I put that song, I just imagine her behind a computer and working and working and working. And then it was, I don't know how this happened, but the time we were filming the her first undercover mission, that's with Orla Manso in episode 4. I was listening a lot to Run the Jewels, specifically Legend Has It, and I feel like that's a really empowering song. So I just played it every time I was like they picked me up, and I just played it on repeat when we were filming those, because I feel like that gave her the I can. And I also listened to Hilarity Dove by Kate Ranada, because it's also like a lot of sounds, and yeah, so that was like more of a happy song, if I can say that. And those were the three most special ones, I would say. Yeah.
I think when you're like in character, it's important for, I guess, Camilla to kind of, maybe she needs that extra confidence boost, for example. So it's good to listen to something upbeat and keep a diverse playlist. Camilla was top of her class and excelled in her past job in intelligence. Did you develop a backstory for her yourself or discuss her past with the show's writers and creative team with respect to her joining the police force and why she chose this career path?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it wasn't something that we talked, like it wasn't something as a group we developed, but I did like imagine, just like to help me, that this was, I mean, she realized she's good with all computers, and doing that really early on. So, and I also feel like Camila has this genuine interest to do something good out of her life, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like it was mostly intuition for her. Like it was, I'm good at this, and my uncle is here, and he is on that part of the professional life. So I feel like it kind of influenced her or gave her idea that that existed, and that she took it and she figured out she was good, and she just went for it. Yeah.
And obviously, when she's in school, like all she has to go off of is like, oh, my uncle's in the police force. The are doing good things. And so that can like motivate her. Little did she know later
Yeah.
on. But with being on the spectrum and her uncle being a higher rank in the force, like I am sure Camilla has faced a lot of judgment and prejudice. So, how do you think she's handled all of the opinions about her over the years, despite being qualified, like her excellent qualifications?
Yeah. If I'm being honest, that I just like related a lot of that information from my personal life. Like sometimes you're just really qualified to do all that you do, but people exist and people have their own perspectives and their own narratives of you, and you just can't um, control that, you know? So I feel like Camila, since a very young age, has been someone that's viewed differently, and she was diagnosed not so early on. So I feel like she had to find a way to cope with that, you know. And the easiest way to cope with that is just like assuming that that's not gonna change, and you just gotta keep on going. And I feel like that she's been doing that all her life, you know, like getting new friends or not feeling like she's part. Maybe she's tried it and tried it and tried it, and she's qualified and she's an excellent human being, but society sometimes it's not so much, so she had no other option that just continue going with her life. And specifically with the uncle subject, I feel that she gets into that barrier again as soon as she walks into the unit, you know, like Chris' character saying, well, yeah, but she is the niece of our boss. And I feel like she gets really nervous because this is something she's been dealing with her whole life. And I mean, she can't do anything about it, just like, I'm really qualified and I'm gonna tell you I'm really qualified, but I can't do anything more. Yeah.
I think she definitely tries to distance herself from her uncle and
Yeah.
his name, but it's also mentioned in the show that she used to try to hide her autism because she would immediately be treated differently. So it's like these two barriers that she tries to, not get out there, but eventually they always do, and she just has to continue doing her work. In episode 4, she begins field work, goes undercover at the women's retreat, as you mentioned, with Orla, ends up in her getting injured. She was very brave in going in alone in her first kind of like mission. So, how do you think that specific experience changed her?
So when I was building the character, I knew that as soon as that episode got filmed, we had to see an immediate change on her. Like, and as she says, when she comes back, I feel like I liked it, but I'm better at office work. So yeah, I feel like she said that, but at the end, it got she had a feeling like, I mean, I've been preparing for this. I went to police academy. I can do it, and I did it, and that I'm better with office work and being behind of a computer. I also saw that what I've been preparing for my whole life, I can also do. You know, so I feel like that gave her validation with herself. Like she didn't need it from them, no, because but she allowed herself to live the experience and then decide if she wanted to continue through that path, or maybe like balance it out. And she does, no, on the TV show she goes out more and all that. So I wanted that point for me was okay. From now on, we get to see a more decisive Camila and a more confident Camila, and yeah, that was important. Yeah.
She proved to herself that she was capable of handling it, although with the bloody face, it was kind of
Yeah.
scary for her. But her uncle, Ortega, expects Camilla to inform him of the unit's activities. However, she instead pledges allegiance to her new team. Can you take me through why and the disconnect she feels with her uncle despite him helping her with employment?
Well, for me that's just like um I feel like she's really conscious that the reason he does all that, it's not precisely because of her, it's because of her mother. So I feel like she doesn't feel like she owes him anything because he doesn't come from a genuine place to her. He comes from a place of pity and for like paying what my mom gave him as a sister because she was like a mom to him. But he's just like, I feel like he's like the absent parent that just comes in and gives you nice toys and thinks that's enough work. And she's really conscious that of that, so she doesn't feel any type of human connection or the need to be loyal to him because he's clearly not loyal to her, and she knows it. Yeah, he's using her at the end. So I feel like she's really smart, and she's getting to know all these people uh, that are getting into like to be her family. So I feel like there's no, I mean, it's not a question for her. Yeah.
I like that answer because, for some people, I feel like it would be enough that, he's helping her out with the job. But for Camilla, she wants more than that. Like she maybe would benefit from a better relationship that he just doesn't have for her. I think her dad is very grateful, but he doesn't like, fully understand what's going on.
Right.
And I love the dialogue, conversation she had with Nico, where she talks about having 16 plushies in her room and feeling more loyalty to all of them than her uncle, which I thought was so funny and cute. But the zombie movie set, like you mentioned, it was such a unique environment. So, is there anything specific you remember from filming those scenes, including when Camilla arrests River Woodstock with Emma's help?
Yeah, filming that was like maybe my favorite part of the whole show because we got to do makeup tests, and I've never got the chance to like be, when they put all the material and you're not, you can't breathe or whatever. That was like very interesting to me. And also filming on a set, like you're filming a set and then you have the real set. That was really really fun. And seeing all the zombies, it was like it was amazing. It was one of those days that I really like got back, and as a person I said like I really love my job, and this is amazing, and I don't want to do anything more in my life. Like this is, I'm so grateful. um but yeah, with Emma, I feel like everything, it's it's like not like it was planned, so she has to improvise. And having Emma there definitely like gives her kind of a support because she's not on her own. I mean, if Beto left and Emma wasn't there, then she will have to figure things on her own. And she could do it, yeah, but it's better to have someone that you can, that you trust. And that also I feel like it's important that she's a woman, that, the character of Emma, she has a story of like standing up for her friends, and respecting a woman's body and whatever. So I feel like Camila knows that, and knows that for Emma it's important. So it's a great combo. Yeah.
I thought they work really well together, just the two of them. And Paulina is great in that role. I call her like the unofficial seventh member of the team because she helps them out when they need it.
Yeah.
The scene in the pool hall with Quiha was very tense. Can you take me through the emotions you felt as Camilla and having to be talked down by Archie into lowering her gun?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a weird situation, and I feel like it's very tense because it's very weird. And how I try to like tell her part of the story is that, I mean, she's doing all this field work lately, and she goes out. She has her gun, and we're trying to get to these people, and he jokes. but Camila doesn't know about like social jokes, or if you're not really gonna shoot your gun or not. I don't know if you're lying or not, because she doesn't know him. The one that knows him is Archie, and she has no idea. So I feel like I wanted her to I wanted to show that she takes her job seriously, and that for her, even if it's a joke, it's not funny. So yeah, I just wanted to. I feel like I wanted to feel like you don't know if one of them is going to shoot their gun. Like you're just maybe she would or not, but yeah, I mean at the end she doesn't. But I feel like for her it was like I just have to do it, because I don't know if this is serious or not, or if we're in danger, or he's just I don't know, a weird person. Yeah, so that's it.
I feel like, I mean, she's just doing what she trained for, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, what she's taught. Like this could be a hostage situation, and he did steal Archie's gun, and I thought that one of their guns was gonna go off
Yeah.
accidentally because it was a very kind of like in the moment scene. But I love like your interactions with Andrew in that episode because I feel like she got to learn a lot more about him and how hard it was to separate that family at the end. When she arrives in the unit, episode 2, she chooses a desk in a space separated from the others. But by episode 10, she sits at a desk in the main room with everyone. So, can you expand upon how her comfort level has grown over these episodes and feeling like she belongs on the team?
Yeah, that was a decision Adrian Grunberg, the director of 1, 2, and 11 and 12, took. That, I mean, it was actually something that came up as we were filming it, on episode 2, that I turned back and I saw that, and he said like, "Oh, okay, maybe she decides to make that her office because she doesn't know these people yet, and she likes to have her own space." And at the end, she works in both. Like you see how she puts all her personal stuff on the desk with everyone else, but she also goes there eventually to see stuff. So I feel like it's just like naturally, it's a natural process of just getting to know the people she's working with, and getting to like them, and also to feeling comfortable being seen, maybe like that's, I think, the important part, because on episode 2 you see how she's just like, I mean, I don't feel really comfortable right now with all you guys staring at me, and she leaves. But eventually, I mean, I think it's just natural that she goes to the other desk, and she just has friends, so why wouldn't she?
Yeah, when she first like kind of looks at everyone and then they said, "Here's a desk for you," and she just walks in the other direction. But the physical touch thing as well that you can see initially, even like a fist bump is kind of uncomfortable for her, but later on, like people are close to her and she's just become a lot more accustomed to having everyone around. In episodes 11 and 12, Camilla is put in a difficult position by the unit and is later threatened by her uncle and forced to give him Nico's location. So, first off, was she happy to place the microphones to try and help take down Ortega, or did she feel conflicted and uncomfortable but didn't want to say no?
I feel like she definitely felt like, I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but I would say like what's the specific word I would put to this? Mm, like, yeah, maybe a little bit of pressure, but not from a wrong side, a pressure because it's something difficult to do, because at the end she might not know how dangerous her uncle is, but she knows he's not the nicest person in the world. And I feel like it's not again, I feel like she's always known that her loyalty is with the unit, and I don't think that was a problem. The problem for her was more of getting to do a plan that works, that doesn't get caught up, but then it gets caught up, you know. I think it was more than like she didn't have she didn't have time to plan it. She just had to go and do it, and that put her like on a well, yeah, not in a controlled situation. And I feel like if she were to do that, she would love to have a little bit more time so she could do it well. Yeah.
Because she did almost get caught planting the microphones. And then we obviously don't see how he knew it was her, but I'm not sure if he has like hidden cameras or he did a sweep of his own room. But like you mentioned, I mean, those microphones weren't very tiny. So it's unfortunate that, that happened, but it's all part of the plot.
Yeah.
Camila clearly upset and feels guilty over what happened, but she has the support of the team, including Nico after Ortega's death. What does that support mean to her in a situation that was very personal? Like now her uncle is dead.
Yeah. I feel like that's really, I would say, beautiful, but also like sad moment for her, because for the first time she gets to be with her people, you know, like these are not just like my unit. These are people that actually know her and support her with all her decisions as a human being. And also, I feel like what's truly powerful is that she takes accountability for what she did. I mean, she knows it wasn't the greatest act of the world, but she really did not have another option, and that's human. And I feel like everyone at that point is going through very human problems, so that is just like a family empathy that I feel. Yeah, she's definitely feels guilty and sad because her uncle died and his father was put in danger, and she didn't knew if Nico was alive or not, or if she got some of her friends killed. But at the end, like, with all of that, she still has the love and support of everyone. So for the first time in her life, she has someone she can cry with, and everything's gonna be okay. And I don't know, she made a mistake, but her people are still there. So I feel like that's one of the most beautiful moments for her. Yeah.
It's having like that chosen family, and I love how nobody even thinks about blaming her, right? It's
Yeah.
all like support, and you didn't have a choice because they know like later on that, her father's life was in danger, and people do what they do for their family. What
Yeah.
does Camilla find attractive about Beto? This is like my favorite pairing in the season. And how do those feelings grow over the season?
So, I was it was really funny because at the first drafts we got from our writers on episode 6, they had like this real kissing scene that it just like exploded, this attraction that's been building. And what I watch a lot of K dramas, and what I love about those stories is that you watch 16 episodes of 1 hour to get one kiss. So I wanted to have that sort of like very subtle connection that just, I mean, they maybe just saw each other and then looked away, and that's the kind of connection they have until episode 6, where they finally talk alone. So I feel like it grows from very subtle, like, eye contact. And I feel like she's really attracted to him, like, uh physically, but she doesn't know him so much. So he's someone that gives her that's giving her some different attention, like I feel like she's never experienced that type of attention, so she's like intrigued, and then that grows when they finally talk. I feel like she knows also that he kind of likes her, and but I wanted it to be like really, because that's coming when you're watching the show, like that's eventually going to come, but I really wanted people to be like, I wanted to be in this episode and it's not on that episode, and I wanted to be in this episode and it's not gonna be on that episode either. So yeah, I think that it was really nice that we saved the kiss for the last episode. Yeah.
I think in English it's like they call it a slow burn is what
Yeah.
they call it. Yeah, the kind of relationship where you're like waiting for something to happen. But are there any specific moments that they share? You maybe kind of referenced a couple that really stand out to you. Like, do you have we'll talk about the kiss scene in a bit, but like are there any moments kind of leading up to episode 12 that you really kind of have in your mind as being like a good moment for the two of them?
Yeah, and I don't think this is something that people notice, but on episode 7, when she's on the computer watching Sam and Kim, that they uploaded something, there's a shot where I'm looking at the computer, and at the end, through the window, you can see how Beto is looking to her. So for me, that moment, because I'm here on the computer, and then I turn to him and I see how he like pretends he's not watching me, and I feel like, I mean, that's an important thing for Camila, because yeah, they talked in episode 6, and we know that they like each other, but that just makes it like really evident. And I love that, something that you just notice if you will see the interview because a lot of people just won't see that, but that was really important. Mhm.
I do think it's cute how they're constantly, like you mentioned, looking at each other, like stealing second glances. And, in the water cooler moment, she like smells him and says he smells nice, but that doesn't like scare him off, which is the other thing
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah. That was really fun to film, really. That was I really like that scene. And also I feel like he's just, I feel like for him, I mean, I don't want to talk about Beto's character, but I feel like for him, he's never talked to someone or seen someone like her, and that's like really special to him. And and I know that Camila just like likes him. Yeah.
How much do you think they know about each other by episode 12? Like in moments off screen, like I guess after episode 6, like do you think that they've been able to connect on a deeper level and share information about their personal lives, or is it still very much a surface level crush?
I feel like it really is like first level crush, like, yeah, it's when I feel like if we get to see more of them, we would see a first date or something, but I don't feel like they know a lot about each other on like a personal level. But yeah, I mean, they just they like each other. It's like, yeah, very in first level crush. And yeah, we'll see.
I think there's still like a lot more to learn because I do feel like with Camilla, we did get some more insight into her
Yeah.
life, as well as like Gloria and Nico, but we don't know a lot about some of the others yet, including Beto. So it would be interesting to see them interact more.
Yeah.
Now, can you take me through the kiss scene, like from Camilla's perspective and deciding to make that bold move?
Yeah. So I feel like it has a lot to do with all the context, like everything just exploded. And minutes before, he was the one that came to save her, so to take her out. So I feel like that just was the last confirmation that she needed, because also on the scene when Nico tells me everything's fine, don't worry, you did what you had to do, you can see that Beto is looking at Camila like very approving, like her decisions, and kind of in love. So I feel like when she sees that he goes out, she just like she's very empowered because of all that is happening, you know, like everything's changing, everything is sped up, everything went completely like to explode it. I mean, I can say it like in another way, and that gives her the strength. And because I feel like she also kind of has an intuition that he won't do it. um he's not gonna be the one that makes that first move, not because he doesn't want to, but because she's very conscious that he doesn't know how to approach, or if she would take it from a way that's not comfortable for her. So making that consciousness, she decides to like, okay, either I do it or this never happens. And even if I do it, I get an answer. You know, if he says no, then I've been just being reading wrong all the signs, and I'll go home, have a cup of tea and sleep. But she has to do it. Yeah.
I do like the analysis of it because I do feel like he's very like respectful and considerate. So like you
Yeah.
mentioned, like he might not want to put her in a bad position. So she's just like, I need to find the answer out now. And she does it. And that was a sweet scene. How was it for you to film opposite Manuel as an intimate scene? And how was he overall as a scene partner and playing a character key to Camilla's growth and story?
I love him. I love Manu with all my heart. He's an amazing person, and it was really wonderful to share set with him. I would have loved that that connection got explored more, because having him as a scene partner was was really beautiful. I feel like the characters do have this chemistry, and that's just because as persons, Manuel and I, we get along really well. We are friends, and that happened to me with everyone on the cast. But with him, I mean, he's like I feel the person Camila feels the most close to, in maybe in an imaginary way, but but yeah, so having him, it was really wonderful. And yeah, I can't wait to share more with him. Yeah.
Fingers crossed, of course, for a
Yeah.
second season. We'll talk about your hopes in a bit, but you know, when you first read the scripts and you mentioned that there was supposed to be like a big kiss in like episode 6, like was it you who went to the writers and you're like, K-dramas, we need the slow burn, or how did that get changed?
So that was a decision that came from Manuel and I, because we were just like, we saw that. And on a personal level, I was like, this isn't something that Camila would do, at least not too soon, because she was the one that made the ball move too. But so, and for him it was a lot. And also it just was, from our point of view, not necessary, because I feel like sometimes you just have a lot of intimate scenes. And in this case, we felt like it was more interesting to see the relationship grow slowly. And I told him, like, you know, you have to watch a K-drama, and please tell me that you don't wish they kiss, and they just don't, like, they rub each other hands, and they just like do it and you're dying. And he was like, yeah, we have to do that. And the writers were okay with that. They saw it and they support us um really well. So yeah, at the end I think it was a really nice choice and teamwork, and Manuel and I just got on the same symphony, and we proposed it. Yeah.
I do like that the writers are open to changes though, because I think it means a lot. Like you're understanding these characters. So if you think that it's not maybe right for them at this stage, and being able to comfort level as well, approach the writers with your ideas. So I think it ended up really well to end the season. What did you learn about yourself personally through playing Camilla in season one? Like what did she teach you?
Mm. A lot of things. I feel like this character, it was such a gift to get to create her. But I would say that most of all, the confirmation that just being the way I am, it's enough to be loved and cared by the people I consider important to me. Like just the fact that I'm here, it's enough to be valuable, because and I think this is something that I also donated to Camila. I tend to feel a lot like my external qualities validate me a lot, or give me like this social value that at the end translates in love and care. So through her, I just saw that being yourself is the best thing you can do in your life. Because I mean, and it sounds a little bit cliche, but yeah, I mean, there's no one like you in the world, so why would you like try to be other than yourself? And it gave me the courage like to really, I mean, I've always been someone that loves being herself and whatever, but to really get in touch on that part of me that likes finding out new things about me and consuming things that nurture my artist and my soul, and through that like finding more of myself. So yeah, that. Mhm.
That's so beautifully said. And it's such a gift when you can learn more about yourself through a character, and especially in a positive, beneficial way to your life and livelihood. The chemistry between the unit was fantastic. I know you mentioned it was so great to work with everyone. So tell me about the core group of Myra, Harold, Hector, Andrew, and Manuel. What can you say about them as people and as scene partners?
Well, and these, first of all, I feel like they all are really talented actors, and I love that from minute one there was this openness of, okay, this is in the way that is written, it doesn't quite work. So is it okay if you don't say that line and I say it, and then maybe you just don't say that? And that openness existed from the very beginning, and I feel like that's really really, like, there's no best way to start a project than with that, because I feel like sometimes as actors and actresses we tend to be like really egocentric or jealous about our time on the screen or whatever. This type of things exist. So getting to work for 6 months with people that just care for the good of the story was such a gift as an actor. And of the screen, we're friends, like, to this day, the 10th of August, we call it carne asada, and we just gather around and we do some steaks and drink some wine. We're friends on real life, and I think we are going to still be for a long time. Mayra is one of my best friends. Like, in a year, she's become so close to me. Andrew too. Harold, I feel like he's like in the TV show, he's a bit of father figure, like this is like this, I take care of you. That also in real life, I feel like he's someone that takes care of me a lot, and I see him as someone that I admire a lot. I admire a lot his career. And also Kotsifakis Hector, he's the funniest guy on on real life too. So yeah, these are people that I just would love to keep acting with, and keep them as my friends for a long time. Yeah.
It's so nice to have that collaboration. And I like what you mentioned at the beginning about it not being like a competition between actors, because I can see that happening where you really want to like maximize your screen time to get more opportunities. But when everyone kind of works together, like you create something like this, and it's such a good overall project. Do you have a favorite behind the scenes memory from set that you can share?
Oh, favorite behind the scenes. Oh, I just everything I see, everything. Every day was beautiful. I just like I can say that we had our health as actors, and it was nice just to be there whenever we were not like everyone was on screen. We just went there, and it was a nice place to be. But honestly, everything just like of the scene was, everything was so nice and beautiful that I just couldn't pick like a favorite moment. I just, there was one time on episode, I think it's episode 4, when we go back with our yoga mats, and Chris says something like, "Oh, you look like Aladdin. Yeah, that's why they got here so early." He improvised that joke. So the first time he said it, I just cracked, like I couldn't. And I remember that as a really beautiful moment because I just couldn't stop laughing. Yeah.
Oh, so that was like an improvised line that made its way into the. That's so great when it happens like that, and you just kind of roll with it, because he was kind of like a bit of a jokester. Like he did have his serious moments, but he did have like those good one-liners as well.
Yeah.
Well, the series creates conversations about economic and political interests, corruption, and cultural stereotypes. So, what do you hope viewers take away from season 1 of the Gringo Hunters?
Hmm. I would say that I just would really love to encourage people to give the show a chance, because I feel like when people see the title, maybe it might sound like an attack, but this is not a name that they put each other. This is a name that the people put them. So I feel like if they give us a chance, they would really see that there's always two sides of the story, and there's no country that has all bad guys or all good guys. Like that's just, I think, something important to tell, because it's just true. So so I think that I would like that people get to see that there's also Mexican cops that do their jobs and they do it well, and that also it exists a collaboration, between the two countries in these times where everything is like very polarized. And I feel like a show like this is really important, because at the end, if United States didn't do their part of their job, the Gringo Hunters wouldn't be able to do their job. So we can work. It's there. Collaborating is also an option. So that's really, I think, important. And also that I think it's important to portray policemen, especially here in Mexico, as humans, as people that go back to their houses and do have kids, do have fathers, do cry, and do fall in love. Because this is maybe something really Mexican, but yeah, it's really common that if you get stopped by a cop, you instantly assume that he's gonna try to rob you or he's not gonna do their job. And also, if you're like in an emergency, you'd rather figure it out yourself than call a cop. So yeah, I think that's important to us as a society in Mexico, that we are conscious that they are doing at the end of the day their job, but they're still people. Yeah.
That's so well said, like that there are honest cops and honest people out there. And with a show like this, I'm sure you did your research about the real life Gringo Hunters as well. And it's such a dangerous job. So these people, are putting themselves on the line to help, their country, but also another country as well. So I thought it was a really good portrayal of the original article. And I'm sure you learned so much about the law enforcement side as well. If renewed for a season two, aside from maybe Camila and Beto's relationship, what else do you hope to explore with her? And are there any specific characters you would like to see her interact with more?
Yeah. Definitely Gloria. I think that they have to, I would love to see them on a mission together as the two girls of the unit. That would be really, really awesome. And I do feel excited to explore her falling in love. Like, I really want to see how that develops. And I mean, if there's a season two, I don't know what way the writers will take Camila, and I honestly like cannot guess, but I would love to see her more like doing this field work and more like action, and to explore more of that side of her without leaving that she's like the intellectual part of the team, of course. But yeah, I would love to have more scenes where I get um, to practice a choreography, an action choreography. I would also like her to shoot a gun for the first time, for example, and yeah, and to go on a mission with Gloria. I would love that so much. Yeah.
That would be really interesting because also with Camilla, like I'm sure she can get overwhelmed. So it would be interesting to kind of find that
Yeah.
balance between like the technical computer work and then the field work for her, while maybe entering into a new relationship as well.
Yeah.
So there's so many like possibilities there. Do you have any upcoming projects that you can share, including any details you can share about the short film that you wrote?
Oh, okay. So the first one I cannot, but I'm sorry because my managers will say it will no. But the second one I can totally tell you what my short film is about. It's about I feel like it's a really generational thing that we tend to not like our birthdays, and that really caught my eye. And I remember that I like almost every birthday I have I have like great expectations of what's going to happen, and at the end, like nothing happens. So this is like the story of a young girl that it's her birthday and she's really excited about it, but then no one remembers it. And we see how that develops. Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
It's like sad hearing that. So like, have you finished the script for it? Because I know you said before that you would like to direct it someday.
Yeah. I finished it. Yeah. I have my last draft, but I still I like I'm letting it incubate, because sometimes you write something and you think it's really good, and then you read again like a week later and you're like, nah, that's not exactly what I wanted. So, and also, I mean, it happened to me. I read the last draft recently, and I felt like maybe I changed a few things, but I would love to direct it soon. I would really love that. Yeah.
I feel like it's always something in original work that you're like the most critical of it, but sometimes you do need to like sit with it for a bit and kind of make those revisions. You
Yeah.
did have a role in a Prime Video
Oh yeah.
show, Seduction Games, if you want to talk a bit about that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that was a really special moment in my life because I got that role when I was first visiting Japan and South Korea. So it was like this is very personal, special moment, and it had been a while that I didn't got into a project that I liked. So when I was traveling there, I tend to go on vacation when I feel like. I need to like think new things or whatever. And so I was there and I just like I did my casting before going on the trip, and then all the callbacks and the chemistry test I did them 5 a.m. in the morning on South Korea and then like in Japan. But it was really magical because I remember that I used to go to the temples and that, and I live because you can like write a desire and then put it on the like depending the temple. So I used to do that a lot in the temples. And when I was going to go to fly back to Mexico, I got the yes. So I feel like in that movie, the special part of Nadia, or what I at least wanted, was that I mean she's like the human connection of the only human connection of the main character, that's Raul. And yeah, I just wanted her to be like that. I don't know, human part of the movie, because it's a movie that's like a lot of it's based through like very materialistic things. So yeah, I wanted her to be like a grounding character.
It's always so cool to take on new characters and get to, learn a bit through the new worlds that you're in. Something very cool is you also post content on TikTok and vlogs on YouTube. So what is your relationship like with social media, and have you always been comfortable recording and sharing parts of your life?
I feel like it's something I've always like felt comfortable doing. I used to be more comfortable a few years back when I was studying journalism, because all my content has to do with like book recommendations and all that. And now I feel like I like it, and it's definitely something that I like to share with people, because I don't like film a lot about my life. I try to, but I'm not also very constant. And I feel like yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm figuring it out, because one sometimes I like it, and then sometimes I feel like no, I like that's enough. You get to be on screen with your work. You maybe you save these things for yourself, because this is something, reading is something that I like a lot on a personal level. And as much as I like to share it, I feel like also when you start posting content, you kind of your public or whatever starts expecting it like more constantly. And I feel pressure with myself, with reading more and more and more and more. And sometimes I caught myself like just not enjoying what I read just because I had to upload a video. So yeah, I'm just figuring my balance out. It's something that I would like to do, but I'm like finding how I want to do it. Yeah.
Social media is very challenging with that. Like you mentioned, pressure, but also not wanting to be like you want to be genuine in what you recommend, like book wise and what you share as well. And you also have like a poetry Instagram account and blogs. I just love how passionate you are about words and storytelling, and it kind of cycles back to, that journalism writing background. It will never fully leave you,
No,
correct?
no, never. And I am glad. Like I really, really would like sometime in my life love to write a novel or to, like write a full script. I feel like that's something that's just gonna be there, but your seeds like flow or like blossom in at the time they have to. So there's no pressure. I still write and whatever, but yeah, I feel like now's the time for acting, and I'll get it into that maybe more like with more time and attention further in my life, because I also have this thing of like, I don't know, putting a lot of pressure on myself and doing everything perfect and wake up 5 a.m. and write for 2 hours because that's what Carol Joyce Oates did, and you can see where Carol Joyce Oates is right now. So yeah, I'm trying to, like, I know it's a part of me, but I'm letting it like take its place. Yeah.
It will happen when it has to happen. And the most important thing is taking care of yourself because if you want to do everything, you might suffer from burnout and
Yeah.
exhaustion. So it's good to focus on, a current project here and there. I have one more question for you, our signature question. If you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
This one is so easy. I know it. I would be Rocky Road. Yeah, 100% chocolate, almond, and marshmallow. That's just like you have the best of both worlds. I maybe would add like a sprinkle of sea salt, and that would be like my favorite. Like I would be that flavor of ice cream because I love chocolate, and marshmallows is like they are sweet, but you also have the sea salt that grounds you, and I feel like I am like cute, but I also am like, let's do this, and it has to be a nice flavor. Yeah. I don't know.
I love that. And I love the addition of sea salt. I'm actually like such a big fan of adding that into like brownies or other
Yeah.
desserts because it just adds like an additional unique flavor to it, like that
Yeah.
saltiness. So that
Yeah.
was such a great way to end things off. Thank you so much, Regina, for
Thank
the
you.
conversation. It was so nice to chat with you.
Thank you. It was amazing. I love how you interview, and thank you. Thank you so much for such interesting questions, really.
Of course, I hope we get to catch up in the future. But until then, for all those watching, make sure to catch Regina in the Gringo Hunters. Season 1 is out now on Netflix. We will post her social links below to stay updated with new content and projects, and we will see you next time.
Bye.